Welcome to the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast with host Jacqueline Burke. Today's special guest is Alecia Iwanchuk.
Good afternoon, Alecia. Thank you for joining our podcast. How are you today?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Oh, we're looking forward to getting into our conversation and finding out all about you.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
So with our podcast, we like to start back when we were a child and kind of go from there. It kind of sets the tone and tells a story. So, what was your favorite
Oh,
childhood memory?
oh my goodness. So I guess I really liked summers. I liked the carefree running around. Like we were like the kids in the 80s that used to,
Oh,
stay out till the sun went
yeah,
down and drink from the hose and just
yeah,
run around in your bathing suit through people's sprinklers.
yeah,
And like
right
all
on.
the kids on the block would hang out. So yeah, so probably that.
Yeah, love the 80s. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm a total 80s person and it'll never leave me. Wonderful times. So who inspired you as a child?
I have no idea.
Did you watch like many movies or like say television shows, like cartoons even?
I was into like when I would get like the tapes. Like I
Yeah.
remember I got this like Madonna cassette tape
Oh,
and she was in like jean acid wash jean and she had the lace gloves
oh yeah.
and I remember like I was younger, but my sister would watch like Much Music.
Yeah.
And then I remember if like Madonna would come on or like Michael Jackson or something, like I'd go running to try and get on an outfit so
Yeah.
that I could like be in the music video too.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, you're not alone there. Yeah, good memories, those ones, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So did that inspire you? Did that encourage you to create a hobby or anything as a kid?
Yeah, I was I like to joke and say I was like the second kid, so that by the time my parents got to me, it was like, if I wasn't really interested in something, they didn't really push me too hard to stay in anything.
Yeah,
So I was in dance and I was like in a few things, but nothing that ever like stuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so what would you say you would want to be as a grown adult when you were a child? Like what was your dreams to be?
I didn't really think too much. I just thought about like young adulthood. And I think by then it was like you're watching a bunch of movies. And like I just wanted to be like a 20-year-old party girl, I think.
Yeah.
Like I think I even said like my lifelong ambition was to move to BC and party with my friends.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, to the total like embarrassment of my parents. But yeah.
Oh, so what part of BC?
Um, at that time, I didn't
Yeah.
really know.
Oh, okay.
No.
It was just the dream of going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh cool. That's neat. So can you tell me a little bit what you are doing
Okay. So, I actually did move to BC.
Oh, okay.
So, shortly after high school, after I went to university for a bit, there was some trouble there. Things didn't quite work out.
Yeah.
Needed to actually get a change of scenery, so I did go to BC.
Okay.
Um, for a bit, ended up getting pregnant, came back to Saskatoon, and got a job. I was a single mom, so I got a grant to go to a business college, went to business college, then got the job working at a law firm,
Nice.
which is what I have been doing for like 16 years.
Oh, wow.
And in 2020, I was married, got a divorce, and went through, I guess the health and wellness journey began in like 2015. And then in 2020 became that like deeper spiritual, you need
Yeah.
to find a purpose and a passion and start working with some of your inner energy to bring forth a creation of my soul. So with that was I created Intentions Yoga, registered that business in 2021. And so that's what I'm doing now. So now I'm balancing both. I've just recently reduced my hours at the law firm to
Oh,
spend more
nice.
time focusing on my business, which I called Intentions Yoga,
Yeah.
which is really, it's funny, the word intentions, because intention, live intentionally. And now I do really live intentionally, but have not
Yeah.
kind of until 2020 was
Yeah.
really just like, I thought like things just happened and then you responded and reacted to them with the best possible tools you had at that time. But it was always a reaction. There was no like, I can set an intention for this to happen and then I can go and create it.
Oh,
And so that's what I'm really working with now, realizing that like I am the creator of my life, of the things that happen to me, and with the intentionality, I can really decide exactly what I want.
yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. I wish I could get into yoga. Um, how do you handle a client that has certain ailments, like with deterioration in their bones?
Um, like people have all different people come to yoga with all different kinds of things. The act of yoga in and of itself is the art of moving into stillness.
Right.
So it's truly a path through the body to get the body and breath in sync. And once that's in sync, then to get the monkey mind, those
Yeah.
thoughts that like that's go running miles and miles a minute to
Yeah.
also fall into sync with that body and that breath. And an easier way to do that instead of just like going straight for the mind and being like, okay, quiet now, you go through the body, you go through the breath. So ultimately, the goal of yoga is to remain still and to
Yeah.
remain in that meditative state. So that means then that any adaptation can be used for anybody. And that's why I like to work with people one on one with yoga, because
Yeah.
then there is like a whole plethora of practices, of teachings. Whether you're using your voice, your breath, your focus,
Yeah.
that's all yoga. So it's not just, oh, can you go to down dog and then warrior?
Yeah.
Like there's so much more to it. And honestly, like yoga was really great for me. Like I found it on the edge of my health and wellness journey was going to the gym and working out like your typical like running on a treadmill and lifting weights. But then I started doing yoga at the end. And after that, that was the practice that really empowered me in my mind, allowed me to see outside of myself and to see what my life was looking like,
Yeah.
and then to make the positive steps moving forward. So, the flexibility part
Yeah.
is actually in your mind. It's
Yeah.
not in your body. Are you flexible in your mind to just try, to just step on the mat and just, maybe breathe and bring your hands up and down. And that's
Yeah.
it. That's all you do one day.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, how do you, it can be intimidating, when someone's first starting out because
hmm
they assume that they have to be in a class, right?
hmm
And that's intimidating too because you don't want to hold up a class or you know what I mean? So,
Yep.
yeah, that's good to know. One-on-one is really good. And for those that are listening, who feel intimidated by a group setting,
hmm
can be reassured that they can get a one-on-one yoga instruction from you, and it's going
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
comforting.
I also find sometimes those classes are intimidating. Some people, despite it being supposed to be like a holistic space,
Yeah,
people go there with egos. Even myself, like I noticed if I'm in a class
yeah,
and there's a bunch of people, if they're all like, I'm going to push myself a little harder, right? Because they're all around me. Now,
yeah,
this also brings up another aspect of meeting yourself where you are
yeah,
and accepting yourself. So that's why it's this completely holistic practice. You're not just going there, doing a posture, doing it well. it's okay. What happens when you feel a little bit intimidated? What happens in your mind when you feel like you can't quite get this posture? Are you shaming yourself? Are you angry? Like,
Yeah.
is your mind going, and then you witness that
Hmm.
and you bring compassion to that. And then through that process, as long as you're willing to be there, to show up and to be curious and open and accepting, like
Yeah.
there's growth. There's growth in all of those different areas, right?
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so glad we were talking about this because I'm sure you just relaxed several women out there that were intimidated to go.
Yeah, and like I have at my studio, because it's in my home, it's
Yeah.
in so I can have 5 people, and or I can have, I work with people one-on-one, but like the biggest class I can have is 5. And you gotta find your person, right? That resonates with you. It's very much about that with this practice. The further, when you find that the right teacher, you'll go further. You'll feel more comfortable. They'll get you. You'll joke together. Like me and the people in my classes, we joke together, we talk, we laugh. Like it's very comfortable and easy.
Yeah.
Now, is that class for everybody? No. Some people want, everybody, a big classroom packed full of people, everybody really like, really, really hyper focused,
Yeah.
So that's going to be, there's all those different people to choose from.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I mean, it sounds like talking to you, you found something that you love to do, and that's important
Mhm.
too. Then it's not so much like a job, right? So, it's important to love what you do.
Yeah. I want to speak to that because something just happened the other
Okay.
day. It was Tuesday and it was cold just last Tuesday. We've been having like ridiculously cold weather, like minus almost 40.
Yeah.
And that night, all of a sudden, like one lady texted, she couldn't make it. Another lady texted and she couldn't make it. And I was like, I wish I could text and not go to yoga class tonight. I was all snuggled on the couch and I'm like, wait a second. I'm the teacher. And then I'm like, oh, I see what I did here. It's like I'm that accountability person for myself. And I've almost like put myself there. So I,
Oh,
I mean, sometimes even if you love the job,
yeah.
at a certain point, like a job is like work is work sometimes, and we still get tired. So
Yeah.
we still need breaks from it, even though I like absolutely love it. Right.
How do you balance your time with your career and your personal life and, any hobbies or
Well, so luckily my business now is my hobby.
okay, yeah.
So now I've like put that together, but I do have like a garden and
Oh,
that's a work in progress. Like I was working 40 hours at the law firm plus like every night of the week with yoga.
oh,
Because
wow.
I also do different series. So I take people in groups or I have a one-on-one coaching program called Awaken, which I just launched. So I have all these different
Oh,
facets
yeah.
going on. So very, very, very busy. And I was realizing that I was moving into a phase where it was no longer sustainable.
Mhm.
So I did go down to 4 days at the law firm, which I imagine as things go along, and they probably know this too, so it doesn't matter if I say it publicly. Like
Surprise.
it's an obvious path that eventually I will move out of the corporate world and go into full-time my passion work. But I'm a single mom with a
Okay.
son and a mortgage. So
Oh,
it's you've got to do this very strategically.
yeah.
And as soon as I had a business, that was like what they call a soul-led business, right? Like you're using your like soul gifts. It's all about like what you love. Like I'm not selling vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe somebody does want to do that as like their thing, but
Yeah.
okay, you get the point. And like right away, it was like, oh, you got to go like all in. You got to show the universe that you believe in yourself, and you got to do. And so I was, for like 4 years, I've been I've been battling with that, and I've finally thrown it all away, and I'm just listening to myself. I know I'm making progress, and it's going to happen for me when it's supposed to happen. And when I don't have to trade up, you know, feeling maybe a little bit like kind of trapped in that 9 to 5, to going to feeling like trapped because I won't have enough money to pay my rent. Like that's not a good switch
Yeah.
up. So I need to do it. I need to do it in my time. So how do I balance it?
Yeah.
I don't I don't have an answer for
Uh,
that. I get a good night's sleep
yeah.
every night, or I at least set the intention to.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, you got to kind of wing it every now and then, I guess, eh? Like because you just never know what happens from day to day. You know,
Yeah.
disruption here or, cancellation there, or you're called into this, or, it just kind of, you got to go with the punches,
Mhm.
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I find like I work a lot on my mindset. That's what really has brought me through being able to go forward, is cultivating a healthy mindset. This year I have a coach for myself, a spiritual coach who helps me with like mindset and getting over
Nice.
we only set up limitations to ourselves, like the
Yeah.
world is abundant, everything's here for us, like all that kind of all that stuff they say is 100% true.
Yeah.
But it's super, super hard to truly fall into it. And like, I will oftentimes now I can catch myself like falling into feelings of lack or like I won't have money, but then remembering like I'm making more money daily. It's like it's always coming in. So trusting myself, believing in myself, all of that has been like a huge mindset.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The
Yeah.
mindset is key. That's for sure.
Hmm.
Um, so how do you like when you find yourself having moments, right? As we all do,
Yeah.
how do you get back to that positive mindset?
Well, sometimes like you have to realize like do you need to allow some of it to come? Because you can't
Right.
resist it. So it's so tricky, but so I guess it would be instance by instance. It's what truly needs to be felt. Is it just ruminating on kind of old ways of thinking because that's what you're used to? Or do you really need to confront something that you
Yeah.
need to deal with?
Yeah.
So, I think I will catch myself and then the awareness and then in that moment decide what I need. So the other day I caught myself I think I was like looking at my bank account and being like, oh no,
Oh,
something like, just having that moment of, oh
yeah.
no, there's not enough. And then I was like, like I almost like talked to myself like I was a little child. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay
Oh,
that you did, you know? It's
that's
like,
so cool.
yeah, so but then other times it's like, oh, like what if this is when like problems come in if like say I bought had like a shoe buying addiction or something and bought too many pairs of shoes and then really needed to I really needed to face that but didn't want to.
Yeah.
See? So that's whereas like or I'm actually creating abundance for myself. I'm not overspending. Everything's okay. But it's just the habit of me being like, oh no, I'm going to be in, like
Yeah.
feeling that fear for whatever reason. Because, for a time in my life, like that was a very real and lived reality.
Yeah.
So,
No, I
yeah.
think that that's a common fear nowadays, I believe. So it's important to, I mean, come up with strategies in how to
So,
help yourself, through those moments.
yeah. And so, there's some things we just can't change. We can't change the prices in the grocery store. We can't change the
Yeah.
price of gas. We can't change like all the atrocities that are happening in the world. And I find where we put our focus is really going to be how we feel inside and our mindset. So I never complain about the price of gas. I
Yeah.
just don't even think about it.
Yep.
And I do not complain about the price of food. I do not even think about it. And you know what? I have noticed something weird. When everybody was complaining about the price of lettuce, I don't know, it was like a year ago or something. And I remember at this time, I just wasn't, I would see it, but I wouldn't attach to that information. I would go into the grocery store and I was finding this live lettuce that was like the nicest lettuce I ever bought. And it was like that So that's my reality. I'm getting this nice lettuce and it's fine. Or everybody's talking about how awful and how disempowered they feel because the price of lettuce is this way. So you can decide what you want to focus on and make that your, like, like as soon
Yeah.
as you go decide you want to buy a red car, then you see red cars everywhere. As
Yeah.
soon as you decide that the world is disempowering you because the price of lettuce is too much, you're going to see that everywhere, just as an example, right?
Yeah.
And
That's amazing,
I,
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you start thinking about something. I mean, nowadays, all you have to do is talk. Your phone could be off, and you talk, and then poof, there's what you were talking about on Google. Like,
yeah, I feel like that's even when I think about things.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it's amazing. But you know what? It for the good things, it works, right? So, and that's important.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a fine line between how much of our energy do we give away to things that are awful. Yes, I'm not denying that, but that we cannot control. No matter what we do, we
Yeah.
cannot control them,
Yeah, and it is
right?
about
So,
that. It's about control. And you can't fight something that you really have nothing to do with, for one, and you
mhm,
can't control. You just let it play out and, see what happens and make the adjustments.
yeah.
And to find your group of people is very important.
Mm,
To have that, I call it a little sisterhood or something to fall back on where you can have someone that just is listening so you can get all of that out. Do you have that in your life, like with your spiritual life coach? I know that would be a good option for people too, eh?
yeah, like she's amazing for me to just because I hold a lot of space for other people. So
Yeah.
it was wonderful to have her hold space for me for my own personal development and growth. So that's really wonderful. And it's not like I'm not in that program to like I took a lot of programs like business coaching and all
Yeah.
that. And it was like a means to an end, right? Like I wanted
Yeah.
to be able to get something out of it. Right now with the coaching that I'm getting, it's just to be supported in my journey. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I just, I love that she's there. We meet monthly. And but I do have a good support network. I'm part of the Sacred Woman Festival that they have in
Nice.
Porcupine Plain. So there's a lot of women in that community, as well as kind of when you start on your spiritual journey, your interests and hobbies change. Like I used to have like a bit of a nightlife and would go out to like parties and to DJs and stuff. And that, like, I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
And so I've started to like kind of cultivate these other things I like to do. And then, but I mean, for the time that I have, I don't have a lot of time to get together with a lot of people, but yeah, I feel like I do have the support. And I mean my family's great. They've had to deal with me going through a bit of like a
Yeah.
change,
Yeah.
but they've been great and really supportive.
Yeah.
Oh, Alicia's into like crystals and aliens now. Great.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Just when in doubt, you gotta have the crystals. I mean, it just helps, you know.
yeah, sure
Oh,
does.
yeah. That's fantastic. Um, okay, so what sparked your interest with your career? So with yoga, for example. So what,
Hmm. Well, it was 2015, and I was feeling really icky in my body. Like at the end of the workday, I would come home, I would be like bloated and just feel awful. And so I was on the internet constantly researching like what to do, what to do, what to do. And I
yeah,
remember so clearly, I sat down on the couch and I was like, Alicia, you have all the information.
yeah,
You don't need to go research anything else. You
yeah.
know what to do. So I was coined as an annoying morning person, and I
Okay.
still kind of am.
Yeah.
So I decided to take that annoying energy and put it to good use. So I started going to the gym.
Yeah.
And I that's when I was doing like the running and the lifting and that was good. And that's when kind of the yoga came in. And I would practice yoga at the end of my workouts. And then I was doing yoga and doing like meditation, which I didn't even know was meditation, but I was like, I was not really happy in my marriage at that point. And I was like taking myself to this wonderful space. It was like all tranquil and it was just so, so good.
Yeah.
And this is how I was starting my days. And eventually the workout waned and everything turned to yoga. And then eventually 2019, excuse me, 2019, got separated and yeah, went full into my business. So was
Yeah.
that did I answer the question?
Yeah. I mean, I guess life changes kind of sparked your interest in it. You were wanting a change in your life and yoga got you through it all, you know?
Yeah, it was a support for me, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Um, okay, so I ask everyone this question is what you know now, what advice would you give your younger self? Like
Mm.
as a child, that child that loved to watch much music and Madonna.
Um, I would tell her to believe in herself
Okay.
and find a little discipline, maybe.
Yeah.
Listen to your elders.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of
Say
a
please
wild
and thank
card.
you. Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, like believe in yourself. Believe it or not, that's a tough one for a lot of people, because depending on how they were raised or, what type of relationships they had been in, to gain that self-esteem, to actually believe in yourself. They find
Mhm.
every reason not to, but at the end, it's you are your love.
Mhm. Well, it's the only way we can bring forth what's truly within us to bring forth in service to humanity, but also that's going to serve our soul mostly
Yeah.
at the highest. And oh, that belief, that's like a really that's a program that's put into our subconscious at a very, very young age to
Yeah.
how we're going to see ourselves and how we're going to maneuver.
Yeah.
And honestly, my business, building my business has been a portal through which I've been able to build self-belief and build self-trust and have that in real time mirrored back at me to see the progress that I've made.
Yeah.
And watching myself and being like, oh wait, no, like that's not my message. That's my fine tuning, fine tuning. So it's like find something that you can work on that you can bring forth because through that you can build your belief and your self-trust and your confidence.
Yeah.
So I work a lot with those particular things, the confidence, self-belief, and self-trust by using our body. You can cultivate self-trust and belief and confidence by showing up on your yoga mat every day,
Yeah.
by showing yourself that you can do the practice every day. And you can show yourself that you can believe in yourself because you show up again and again and again. And that what you build on the mat with yourself, that connection to your body, you that spills out into every aspect of your life.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool. Do you do retreats at all?
I was hosting retreats for a bit they were called Blue Moon retreats with two other ladies. We don't have anything on the go right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but how did you find doing yoga in a retreat setting?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it
Yeah.
draw a lot of people, or did you find the energy was a bit different for people attending?
Our retreats, particularly, like when you come on a retreat, usually people are there to really open up to take that next step and they're for a few days, right?
Yeah.
So while they might be guarded
Yeah.
a little bit in the first practice or two,
Yeah.
like eventually they really warm up and they can get maybe more out of it than if they were going to a class. Now, if you're going to a class or if you're working with somebody one-on-one, I believe you could get the same results.
Yeah.
But there's also something that happens in community
Yeah.
over a short period of time, even like 3-4 days. And you start to resonate with the people around you. And when everybody is like in a retreat setting, everybody's there for personal health, development, and well-being,
Yeah.
right? They're they're there because they want to open up, they want to express, they want to connect at that deep level. So when you get all those people together and they're all like resonating, and there's a like collective frequency that's built, that's so beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Um, yeah, it's amazing. You look outside and we've got like a foot of snow, and all I want to do is go to an outdoor retreat.
Dawn.
Um, so what, okay, now we're just going to tap into a little bit of what you do during the day.
Okay.
Okay. Um, what kind of advice would you give to a young girl or a woman changing her career and was interested in going to become like a legal secretary or legal assistant, paralegal type of thing?
Oh, if that's the path that they were
If
choosing?
that was that path, because
Mm.
you have
Hmm.
two interesting paths that you're on, and I'd like to, there's a lot of interest out there in being an assistant or an
Yeah.
executive
Like
assistant.
that's like it's safe and secure,
Yeah, safe and
right?
secure. Yeah,
It's safe and secure. You'll get, your yearly wage increase, you'll get a bonus.
yeah.
Um, you can hope to work for a forward kind of thinking office that will provide, like my office hires me to teach them yoga.
Oh, wow.
So there are perks like that. Um, I'm I'm finding for myself, it seems to be probably best suited for somebody who is in a partnered relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, so has a two-income household.
Okay.
Or you may need to take on supplementary work like I did as a single person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the wages aren't as high as they probably should be.
Well, not
But
with with the cost of living raising so
yeah.
much. Yeah. So what it seems to me is like I know a lot of the ladies I work with, if they're single, they have like they do lashes on the
Oh,
side or they've got
yes.
like a side hustle,
Yeah,
right?
right on.
So
Yeah.
you get this like so you can have this thing that like is very stable and supportive so
Yeah.
that you can do something on the side. I mean, who knows how the world is going, like with more people being single,
Yeah.
um, they might have to take a look at that because I don't know how sustainable it is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, like you get vacation days and
Yeah.
what is it? When you get your like benefits
Oh,
and a
yes.
pension,
Yeah.
right? Right. So there's all those safety nets. Safety
Yeah.
nets are good.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, there's different divisions of law that they could always, whatever interests them actually, they could find in law too, because let's face it, it's essential in today's world,
Yeah, like
you know.
hopefully okay. So um while the practice of law will likely remain like necessary for a bit,
Yeah.
when I was looking at like the top three jobs to be replaced by AI,
Oh,
one of them
you're
was a legal assistant. So I
oh
don't
my
know.
God. Really?
I have not personally
Yeah.
seen this happening in my firm. I do see certain things that could easily, in my job, be taken
Yeah.
over by AI. Like,
Oh my
sure.
goodness.
But I am wondering that they might need the assistants to like train the AI for a bit, and you
Yeah.
might get your like little AI buddy.
Oh, really?
I'm just like totally
Yeah.
like this is I have no proof of anything. This is just what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Yep.
Um, But see, the thing is because a lot of what law is, when you're trying to decide on a case, when you're trying to argue a case, you get, if you're like the partner lawyer, you're getting the associates to go and do the research and do the research.
Yeah.
If you have an AI bot that
Yeah.
can go through years and years of different rulings and pick out the ones given the criteria, like uh, there's just certain things that are becoming faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
So they're gonna cut like they're gonna cut the ones at the bottom first,
Yeah.
right? Even going up to just having like the part, like, I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't want to say too much. But
Well,
that's what I see the wave of the future. And maybe part
that's
of that was like,
important.
okay, I need to do something that like can't replace me.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm glad we talked about that because that's important for people to understand, right? Like it's kind of taken over in certain areas. So it's about being creative and finding something that you love to do
Yeah.
and pursue that.
Well, I like that's where I'm at. That's what I would ultimately tell people all that stuff they say, like find what lights you up, truly serve you. And the only thing that stops people is they don't believe in themselves, they don't have the confidence, and right. And so
Yeah.
that stops them. But if you can get over that, and if you can believe in yourself, and if you can take a little bit of a chance, and I'm a really good example to show that like I didn't take a big chance. I didn't take out a big loan.
Yeah.
I built my studio in my basement. I don't have any overhead costs. I mean, aside from I have overhead costs,
Yeah.
but like I don't have a brick and mortar business, right?
Right.
So getting something you can do online is like online coaching, or or even if you like make something and have a little online store that you can ship things
Yeah.
to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting creative, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Lots of
Yeah.
information. I'm
Thank you.
so thrilled to have you on because, it's so good to talk about everything, options, you name it, right? So,
Hmm.
yeah, so thank you so much for coming on, Alecia. And
Yeah.
I hope to have you back for our season 2.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And have a wonderful day.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us at the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast.